Hey Radiant Souls, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome for the first time. My name is Heather. I'm an intuitive artist, author, animal communicator, energy healer for pets and people, psychic channeler, medium, and I'm on a mission to empower and embolden others to connect with their divine radiant light and honor the sacred connection with all life. Today I wanted to talk about something that came up in my 6-month development program called The Radiant Way. And I want to expand on it here because I think it's very potent. It's ripe for discussion at this time with the collective. So even outside of the membership group or the development group, and that is finding your neutral. So often we are go-getters. We like to do something and we're comforted by that. We're comforted by the fact that there is a new thing on the horizon for me. There is something I'm going to do for my self-development. And many of us forget to take the palate cleanser, if you will. Like if you are eating a very fancy meal, you have the palate cleanser between courses. Sometimes we don't take that time to refresh for ourselves. And there's been a lot going on energetically on the planet in the last 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. You could insert the window of time here, but specifically in the last month, things have been shaken, things have jolted, things have catapulted to a new timeline, depending on who you ask. But I feel we have jumped to a different kind of a timeline, and many people feel a little bit disoriented by that, and they may not understand why, and it may not be the specifics of what you see reflected around you that make you feel uncomfortable, but there's the energetics. It feels like there are really high highs and really low lows in the emotions and the energy going around, and it's a little hard for some of us to get our footing. That's when it's often best to come back to a space of neutral. So that doesn't mean I shut everything out and I don't pay attention. La, 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 la. Not that. Neutral meaning I need to sit in a space and feel into my authenticity. Because who am I now in this new landscape? It's a little bit like going to a foreign country or going to a new school. If any of you changed schools when you were growing up, you have a chance to be a different version of you because this group of people doesn't know who you are anymore. So this energy on the planet right now is asking a lot of us, or inviting, I would say, a lot of us, who do you want to be now? Who can you be now? If we have changed the game, we're in a different version of a timeline, we're in a different version of reality, if you want to say it that way, who do you want to be now? Do your old perspectives, your old judgments, your old filters, the way you saw yourself, the way you saw the world around you, does that still fit? And if we don't take that time to drop into that neutral for ourselves, we miss the opportunity to come fully ready to approach and magnetize all that is available for us in the new energetics. So what I talked about in my development group, The Radiant Way, was neutral. I like to look at it two different ways. One is no troll. Like I like to mess with words sometimes, but neutral meaning no troll. So you can't, if you're sitting in the space of neutral, there's like nothing that you're expressing for yourself. There's nothing that you're putting out. There's nothing that can be trolled, whether it's from you or someone else. And this is a little weird to explain, but sometimes we lob our own inner commentary at ourselves that is not very kind. So if you're sitting in a space of neutral, you can catch those thoughts a little bit better. Sometimes they're on repeat for us. The I can't, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, I'm no good, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I don't have the ability, I'm not as good as. If you drop into neutral, you hear all of that floating around and you're like, who, what, whoa. I didn't authorize myself to have those opinions of myself. Those don't serve me anymore. So you kind of catch them. It's like they're whirring around, and when you slow down, they kind of, whoop, they show up in a way that lets you catch them. The other aspect of neutral that I like to break down is no trail. So sometimes we are so attached to progress or forward momentum or a way that we think our lives are supposed to be, that we just keep moving forward like we're on a conveyor belt. And when you drop into this space of neutral, when you just let everything else fall away. The pursuits, the passions, you can pick them right back up, but just sit in neutral and make sure that they still work for you. So, no trail means you're at the trailhead and you have all of the possibilities. So, you're not on a trail. You're coming back, you're revamping and you're reassessing what it is for you. Maybe I like to hike a lot, so this image works for me really well when I need to find that space. Sometimes we're on the advanced trail that, we find, wow, this is really steep, and now I'm about to be at the top of a mountain that I didn't even mean to be on. So when you come back to neutral and you imagine yourself sitting at the trailhead with all of the trails available, you get to decide, what is the view that I want to have now? Do I want the easy stroll for this? Do I want the medium effort? Do I want the truly hard challenge? But you're in this space where it's still possible. We forget sometimes that we can pull back and allow possibility to show for us. So I also like to think about it, and you'll see in the channeled message, my team describes it as going into the neutral of your car. Like if you have gears that you are manipulating, sitting in that neutral, you're just kind of there. There's potential. You could go forward, you could go backward, but you're just there. We forget sometimes, just be there. And I don't mean this really to be just like in a meditative space. I mean, take a day, take a couple days, take a week where you just explore that neutrality. If I didn't identify as this, what does that mean for me? If I didn't argue and I didn't defend this particular position or whatever, what would that mean for me? Stripping away all of those identifiers that you have of yourself, stopping all of the mental chatter that is labeling you, stopping all of your judgments of everything, and just checking back in and saying, is that my soul aligned truth? And allow yourself the quiet and the space and the time to hear that. So I pulled through a channeled message about this, and we're going to play that right now, and I'll come back at the end and we'll wrap it up. So enjoy this message. Hello, bright and beautiful beings. We would speak to you today on a topic we would call neutrality. Many of you are uncomfortable with the neutral, for you prefer to be for something, against something, doing something, whether it is forward momentum or reverse momentum. Many of you are uncomfortable sitting in the stillness of self. And we would say the stillness of self is a sacred place to be. And please know that we speak of this outside of the definition of perhaps meditation or contemplation. What we are seeing for many of you at this time is that it is a beautiful opportunity to sit in the space of neutral, meaning you pull back, you slow down, you cease the questing that you are doing. Many of you are questing, you are searching. What is my purpose? What is my passion? What do I need to do? And you are doing it from the energetics of the old you. You are doing it from an imprint of you and a template of you that no longer exists. You've put the cart in front of the horse, as you would say in one of your phrases on your planet. Before you make decisions, before you move forward, it is a beautiful thing to sit in the space of neutrality, for it opens up all opportunity. It opens up all possibility. It opens up all of the paths that are currently available to you. So if you do not sit in that space of neutral, you cannot see all that is available to you. And when we say neutral, we would say, picture the car that you drive on your planet. When you are in a neutral gear, you are not moving forward, you are not moving backward, you are simply being in a state of possibility. There is the potential to move forward. There is the potential to move backward if you do not have the proper brake in place, for instance. There is potential. Many of you feel a deep longing for that. And so rather than sitting in the stillness of neutrality, you try on so many different outfits to rule them out. And that is fine. That is one way to go about it. But with the recent changes in the energetics on your planet, the time is now ripe for you to sit in the neutrality? What would it feel like for you to remove your filters of judgment? Many of you are unknowingly, and this is a skill that you need to unlearn to unlock new levels of self. But many of you sit with perspectives and with filters, and we would say those equate the glasses or the lenses that you look through into the world. Many of you sit in judgment of that. Something is right, something is wrong, something is preferred, something is non-preferred. Something feels good, something feels bad. All of those qualities, when you are viewing them in that way, are specific to you. Something is right for you. Do not push that upon someone else, for it may not be right for them. Something is wrong for you. Do not push that upon someone else, for it may not be wrong for them. Allow yourself a little time to see where those judgments are, where you are putting on those different glasses for yourself, because many of you, while you push those perspectives outward, what is more deleterious to your self-love is that you push them inward. That is the wrong decision. I am wrong. I am not worthy. I am not capable. Are those true assessments of yourself, or are you blocking your potential? Are you sitting in a space of fear rather than a space of adventure? So when you come back to the neutrality, when you sit in the neutral gear, you get a better sense of, I have been traveling down this road, I have been in forward momentum, and perhaps that is no longer for me. Perhaps that road is no longer a road I wish to be upon. But until you pull over to the side and sit in neutral, you don't have the right perspective. You don't have the fullest perspective because you only have the perspective of the forward momentum you've been on. When you sit in neutral, you let that drop in to being a piece of the 360-degree vision all around you. So many of you are uncomfortable with this stillness, but you need not fear it, for your soul's sacred longing sits in this space. Your soul's sacred longing wishes to communicate with you. If you are constantly busy with the next thing, you may not hear the call. So we invite you to sit in the space of neutrality, simply observing all around you, the full picture, the energetics everywhere around you, for they are very intense at this time. But just observe them as that. Observe them as the chaos of creation. Observe them as the beautiful seed coming through the earth, ready to blossom, ready to pull forward fruit for the new tomorrow. What do you want that to look like for yourself? The energy is ripe with creation at this point. What do you want for you? Not what do you feel you should do? What would please someone else? What fits you? What do you want? What do you desire for yourselves? And many of you listening to these types of messages and broadcasts and conversations will want to also include an aspect of service, of giving, of leading. And we say that is beautiful, but you are a false leader if you do not first satisfy the sacred call of self. So you have to know what that is first in order to know, what is it I can do to serve? What is it I can do to show up? What is it I can do to help others? You do that very shallowly if you do not first fill your own cup and know what is the deepest passion of my soul. The deepest passion of your soul fills you up. It may not be the same as what you then offer or how you then show up or how you then serve, but you are not calibrated to your authentic self if you are not listening to your authentic self. So sit in the space of neutral, allow anything else to drop away, And by anything else, of course, we do not mean the obligations you must meet on a daily basis, but we mean the what if this, the what if that. Allow the what ifs to just settle and assemble in front of you as choices. Allow your judgments to come out for examination. Do they still serve you? Allow you to look through each lens of those filters you've previously worn as different perspectives and judgments. Does that prescription still fit my vision, or do I want to change it? Allow yourself to sit in the space of neutral. Hear the sacred calling of your own soul. Hear the whisper of your heart. And feel how much more strengthened, resilient, and inspired you become. Thank you for spending some time with us today, dear ones. Be blessed. Okay, so sitting in the space of neutral, give it a try. Let me know in the comments, is this something you regularly do for yourself anyway? And did this way that we talked about it, classified it, put it on display for you, did that help in any way? And if you feel it's scary, feel free to let us know that as well, because sometimes we're so geared on going and doing that stopping that feels really uncomfortable. And I think we talked about that earlier, but I just want to highlight it again because I hear that very often. It feels like we're free falling, and that can be kind of a scary thing. But the energetics at this time are really available for this kind of introspection, reflection, neutrality. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.